This program contains adult content. Parental discretion is advised.
Testing 1, 2, 3. We are live in the studio. Welcome to Unleashed. This is Matthew Winstead. I'd like to thank everybody for coming back and listening in. I'd like to thank everybody who listened in to the last show. It was a success. So we're back. I promised you a guest, and I have delivered. But first, I'm going to answer some questions that you guys sent in. First question was, what are your thoughts on the NBA Finals Game 7? Between the Cavs and the Warriors? Well, this is easy because I don't like basketball. I don't follow it. So if I had to pick a team, I would choose the Cavaliers. So my understanding is that they won 93-89, so that's good. I can watch a basketball game and understand exactly what's going on. It's just not something I do. I don't follow NBA. Next question, what are your thoughts on Donald Trump proposing to build a wall to keep out illegal immigrants? Well, if anybody could do that, Donald Trump would be the guy to do it. He's definitely got enough money. However, he's saying that he's not going to use his money, he's going to use Mexico's money to do it. So, good luck with that. But we'll see how that works here shortly. I told you guys that movies and wrestling were going to be the brunt of this show because those are the two things I was most passionate about. Not every episode is going to be about those things, but there's going to be quite a few episodes about those things. Today's episode is about wrestling. My guest here today, via satellite, I've always wanted to say that, is a guy that I've been watching for several years, been a fan of for several years. Found him on YouTube. He started out as a backyard wrestler and has worked his way up to a pro wrestler. He now wrestles the indie scene in the Chicago area. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you beautiful Brad Kevins. All right, so we're just gonna dive right in.
Dive right in.
All right.
That's how it's supposed to go.
All right. Well, I appreciate you doing this. Like I said, we're just gonna start off at the beginning. When were you born?
Well, I was born 1995. I am now officially 21 years old, legally. No more fake IDs for this young man. Born in Palos, Illinois. I grew up around Palos, which is a south suburb of Chicago. I was very near the city. And as you know, I have a trampoline in my backyard. I started one very popular yarder fed in my backyard, and that's when my whole wrestling thing got started. I started making videos, they started getting views, people started seeing them, and one of the viewers happened to be a trainee at the CSW training facility. So he invited me over there, and I started wrestling officially when I was 17 years old, was my first real block of training. And then I had my first match as a wrestler 5 days after I turned 18, and I haven't looked back since.
Wow, you just answered like 6 of my next questions all in one. Okay, well, describe growing up in Palos Hills. Like, what's a typical day?
I was never one of the cool kids. You know, I would get along with the cool kids. I was a very, very easy person to get along with, but I was never really in the in crowd. I guess I was always sort of, I don't want to say an outcast, but I was into different things than other people were. They were into pop and hip hop and partying. I was into, Spider-Man and pro wrestling and whatever, comic books and stuff.
Yeah, of course, now that stuff's cool. At least I think. I don't know. But to me, it seems cool.
I have been thinking for a while.
All right, I'm going to hit you with this one.
Sure.
Who is Kevin Severs?
Kevin Severs is... That's a huge question. He's the greatest man I've ever had a pleasure of talking to, meeting, hanging out with. He used to be my father, and he passed away when I was 14 years old. He had a stroke at 51, and then he was recovering, and he was in the hospital,
Right.
rehabbing or whatnot. And then I want to say it was a few days after just a few days
Right.
after the first stroke, the doctor missed something. He didn't take a certain test, or I don't know
Oh,
the
geez.
specifics. I was 14, and I should now, but I do not. And he missed a specific test, and that test that he missed caused some more internal bleeding, which led to a second stroke, which basically left him brain dead, and he passed with time. So yeah, that was my dad.
Yeah.
Biggest Undertaker fan I've ever met in my life. But yeah, cool guy.
How did you discover wrestling? Like you said, your dad was a big Undertaker fan. So I mean, was it him that?
Ooh. Well, he didn't get into. Well, I won't say that. He was into wrestling far before I was even born, in the good old days with the territories, with the Hogans and the Andres and all that stuff. But he never really introduced us, his children, to it.
Right.
I found out about it because my cousins, who are by far the coolest people that I know, had SmackDown versus Raw, the original, with the Tori Wilsons and the Trish Stratuses dancing like strippers on the menu screen. It was awesome. And I started playing that. I got huge into it. And then I was scrolling through the channels one day, and I came across Shawn Michaels and Randy Orton having a contract signing for some match. I don't even remember the event. And yeah, I just got hooked ever since. That was
Well,
that.
Shawn Michaels will do that to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. He's huge inspiration for a lot of people.
So you kind of touched on it briefly in the very beginning, but I'm going to throw 4 letters at you.
Oh, we're gonna do it, aren't we?
All right.
Oh, mhm.
JCID.
Yes.
Talk about that if you will.
Talk about that if I will. Well, originally, I found out how to download music softwares off of online. So I started doing some of those, and I made very bad, very terrible mashups of songs because that was the thing in 2008 or whatever.
Right.
And I had the idea, hey, we have a decent sized yard and a trampoline
Mm-hmm.
here. We both like to wrestle. Let's have a match. So I was, like I said, 14 at the time. I had one of my buddies recording it. It was just my brother
Right.
and myself. We had one match, and that very first one blew up. It's huge. More views than it should have. I think it's absolutely terrible. Garbage. But it got big, and make more, whatever. So we did, and that got big. And then I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's start something. We have something here. Let's play with what we got. And I don't know, like looking back on it, because I'm so much more educated now than I was at the time, obviously being in the business for a few years and seeing things. There's so much I would change, but I from what I hear from other people, it was pretty cool. So it was a good 3 years of my life.
I tell you, I've been a fan of yours for a long time. Through
Thank you.
that, I found you through that.
Thank you.
And I've been subscribed to your YouTube and just waiting everything you post, waiting for something new.
I appreciate that.
And I think it's awesome that you've gone from yarding to the pros. When you were doing JCID, you actually inspired me to do something very similar and very on the same wavelength. I had Lone Wolf Wrestling, which
Nice.
which if you were to go because they're still up, which is embarrassingly, if you were to go and look at one of our episodes, you would probably see that and be like, I can see where they're kind of doing my thing.
Yeah, there was quite a few different and it got very messy because for some reason all these other different companies or channels or whatnot wanted to they really wanted to get dirty and just start a fight because there was like it was myself and then there was like some fed in like Pennsylvania, which I tried driving to wrestle there at one of their
I
events and that just didn't
remember.
work. And there was so many different feds that started feuding with each other and it's like we're just a bunch of kids with YouTube channels. Like this is why are we doing this? But yeah, it we started something and I don't know. I like to be able to say that I did that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I know that I ended up falling in love with unexpectedly the like the behind the scenes of it, like the
Oh,
coming up with like the storylines and the camera work and music and I love doing that.
oh,
That's
it's huge. Yeah, it's way huge. And like I incorporate what I did in some of the companies that I work in now. Like if you've seen my match with Shannon Moore for
absolutely
Chicago Style Wrestling, the main event in their Northland, whatever. And the the commentator was the only guy who had a camera. So it was going to be one straight hard cam the entire time, and it was going to suck. And he still does this. He has a channel, and it's always one camera angle, and very bad editing, very bad intros and outros. And I'm like, this is terrible. Like I was 15, 16 years old with a freaking trampoline. Like I can show you how to, I walk. It's weird that a kid my age can show somebody like him
right.
how to do stuff. You know.
Yeah. Um, where did the name Mike Malerick come from?
Oh man. Um, that's a good question. Um, so I was an amateur wrestler in high school, 103 pounds, very light person. And the one person that I would wrestle, he was on varsity. He won first place in state, which is huge. His name is Kevin Malerick. And I thought the name Malerick was the coolest last name ever. And I like alliteration, and my confirmation name is Michael, so I took the two, and there you have it.
So talk about, you said again, mentioned it in the beginning, but talk about the transition from the backyard to the pro. Uh,
Sure.
how exactly did that happen?
Well, I was. Oh, okay. First, I I stepped in a professional wrestling ring and trained before I ever made a YouTube video. Um,
You were young.
or actually, that's not true. That's not true. I'm sorry. I did the first two videos, and then I didn't do my first match with Mateo um, until like I didn't actually start JCID until after I got in a ring. So I was 16 at the time, and there was a local independent wrestling fed. They don't exist anymore, but they did. And I would go to their shows. I would insist on tearing down the ring and just bother everybody because that's what I love to do. I want to get involved, of course.
Right.
And I found out where they trained. I drove my freaking bike to their training facility, which was crazy at the time, but I didn't have a car. So I rode a bike. I stepped in the ring. I didn't put down any money. There was no down payment. It was just like a trial, whatever. And I tore it up. Like I did some, they were surprised coming from my size, my height, my age, my everything, that I would do some of the things that I did. And they were like, okay, we'll get back to you, we'll talk to you, yada yada. And then it was 3 days later, and they call, and it's the promoter, and he's a huge, just not a nice individual. And he's like, you're 16, you're too much of a liability. We just can't have you. Come back and give us more money when you're 18. And I was devastated. I cried. And I was like, screw it. If they don't want me, I'll do my own thing. And then I did. And as I was making the videos, I was in Colorado for winter break, snowboarding. And I recently posted some kind of image or a photo or something. And it got quite a few likes. And I was messaged the page was messaged by an independent wrestler in Chicago Style Wrestling, and he's like, you know, joking like, "Oh, I want to come work for you guys, blah blah blah. Like you guys are popular, ha ha ha." And he's obviously kidding.
Right.
And I'm like, "Screw that. I want to come work for you guys. You're in Chicago. Where are you?" And he gave me all the information. And then I went to CSW's training facility. I talked to Steve Boz, is the head guy. He's done some stuff with WWE. He used to tag with Christopher Daniels. He's been everywhere. And he said to me, like, "You're 17. Why should I sign you? Like, why do you want this?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Steve, I tried driving to Philadelphia 2 weeks ago to try to wrestle in a trampoline on some other guy's YouTube channel for no money because I love wrestling." And he's like, "That's it. Get in that freaking ring. Let's go." And then I trained for 3 months, and it was quick. After the 3 months, they're like, "You're ready." I'm like, "What?" They're like, Go wrestle." And I did, and it was okay. And yeah, I've been on shows ever since then.
So when did you make your debut?
June 8th, 2013. So a little over 3 years ago. And my birthday is June 3rd, so it was 5 days after my birthday.
So you're freshly 21.
Yes, yeah, it was last month. Very, very good time.
Should I say, do you remember your 21st birthday? That's the next question.
I do. I remember quite a bit of it.
Okay.
And then I don't remember a lot. So there's just a block of time where I don't. Obviously, you black in and you black out. And last thing I remember is I'm in my room right now in Peoria, Illinois, for my college, Bradley University, and I have a bed right here and a futon right here, and my bed is right next to my futon. And I was sleeping on the bed, and my buddy was sleeping on the futon with his head close to my head.
Right.
And I don't know why he thought that'd be a good idea. I lean over and I vomit, and
no.
just everywhere. It's just all over him. I gave him a shower with my. It was.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, no, it was a good time for me. Terrible time for him, and he cleaned it up too in my drunken state on my birthday. What a good guy.
Jeez.
But yeah.
So talk about your debut. Like, how did that go? First match.
It was nerve-wracking. Really was. It didn't help that I didn't, because I'm the Hawaiian hero. I'm the Pacific pretty boy. I'm beautiful Brad Kevins. I got to be brown. I got to be tan. I got to look fresh off the beach, you know? So for some reason, I didn't invest in going to a tanning salon and getting professional tanning done. I went to Walgreens and got this little dinky can of spray on stuff, and I didn't know how to use it. So I put it on, and I'm like, "Yeah, this will work, whatever." I'm rubbing it in. It's so uneven, so bad. My hands were just brown as heck because you're not supposed to rub it in. That you're an idiot if you do that. And so that was bad. I call the match with the guy. I've wrestled the guy that I wrestled that day a few times before, so that was easy. And then I'm waiting for my music to hit, and it's the wrong freaking music. Of course, why wouldn't it be? So I come out to the wrong theme song, but that's fine. And it was in front of like 15 people, but it is what it
You gotta
is.
start
It's
somewhere.
your first time for everything, so.
But since then, you've been in a few other different federations, companies,
Yes.
whatever you want to call them. What other promotions have you worked for?
Okay. Chicago Star Wrestling, Central, Northland, and Southland. So that's kind of three different promotions in the same promotion. I don't know why they do that. Anarchy Pro Wrestling. I was their cruiserweight champion for almost a year. I'm currently in their tag team division, and I wrestled for the tag titles recently. Freelance Wrestling. If you don't know who they are, check them out. They're awesome. AAW, which is like the next PWG. They use a lot of PWG Ring of Honor guys. They're sweet. I have worked for Ring of Honor before. I had one match with them. That was fantastic. And then, random Lucha Libre feds here and there, Galley, LLT, just some stuff. But yeah, not a whole lot.
What was it like to work for Ring of Honor?
Oh, man. That was the best night of my life by far. I just showed up, Frontier Fieldhouse, venue I've been going to since I was a kid. The first wrestling show I ever went to was in that building, so it was very full circle when I got to wrestle in that same building.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I just went there. I knew the people who did the ring, so I did the ring. And one of their um, one of their superstars remembered me from the camp that I did a few weeks prior, and he's like, "You did this, right?" I'm like, "Yeah," and he's like, "All right, do you have your gear with you?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, go get it." I'm like, "Shit!" So I go to my car, I grab my gear, I come back, and it was myself and one of Michael Elgin's students versus the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Michael Bennett with Maria Kanellis as their manager. And Maria was by far the coolest part. I love her, just talking to her and picking her brain because she's awesome. But yeah, it was so cool. Very, very quick. Um, kind of a squash match. I got a little bit of stuff in, but kind of a squash. And no, it was really cool just being able to do that and say that I did that. And my buddy bought the DVD of it and gave it to me, so I have a DVD of myself on Ring of Honor. So that's pretty sweet.
That's cool. Um, I'm gonna hit you with another name. Who is Angel Rosario?
He's a very good friend of mine. He- he's different. He's unique. He's like the gimmick itself. He's like he's kind of like the Undertaker, except he like descended from heaven and he's like fighting for like God he's like he's punishing people
So it's like
or something.
Mordecai or that whatever.
I guess, yeah, somewhat. And he had a manager for a bit, and he carried a chalice instead of the urn with the Paul Bearer thing. But he wears white contacts, so he's got like no eyes, like Taker. He's cool. No, he's very cool, very smart when it comes to wrestling. He's given me plenty of great advice over the years. Yeah, just one of my close friends.
Um, you mentioned winning a championship belt. Um,
Yeah, that was pretty sweet.
how many belts have you won?
Oh, just that one. Right now, yeah, it's I would have. I mean, I would have held others, but the Chicago independent scene is so political. Sometimes it's about who you're friends with instead of what you can do in the ring. Um, but yeah, just the one as of right now. I'm looking to get another one with my tag team partner Alex Romero, the Spot Monkeys, and we're gonna get those straps eventually, hopefully. But yeah,
Scott Hall has said before that to him, uh, belts don't mean a lot because for him, it's about the storytelling and the wrestling. What are your thoughts on championship belts in wrestling?
I wholeheartedly agree with that. Belts suck too. There's such a commitment. You got to be at every show afterwards. It's like having a puppy or like owning a baby. Like you gotta take care of that thing. It sucks, but it's
Do
cool.
they let you keep it and take it home?
Um, I kind of had joint custody of that championship for a while, so I did take it home. I did record a video with it. I think the video is online, but it's not public. I should make it public because it's hilarious. Do you know the song like "Let Me Tell You About My Best
Yes.
Friend"? And it's like a minute, and it's like they use it in montages and stuff. It's myself in the strap, and we're just doing stupid stuff like we're riding bikes and we're going down slides and crap. It's hilarious. I don't know why I never made it public, but and I was supposed to have a photo shoot with it. That didn't happen. And then yeah, I got a text from the promoter. He's like, "I want my thing back." Okay, so I gave it to him.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have to at least send me the link to that at the very least.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, I think I put it on my Twitter. It was like 1 year ago today, and I'll do that.
Um, so you're attending college. Uh, what college?
I am going into my first semester of my senior year at Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois, for a bachelor's degree in marketing.
Okay.
And someday, because I've always told myself I want to someday work for the WWE, and I don't think I'm ever gonna, main event WrestleMania, but maybe I could be in Stamford, Connecticut, being paid by the WWE, working in their corporate office. And if they ever need somebody to job for I don't know, the next Ryback or whatever, I would be the guy to do it. I think that would be pretty cool.
All right. So, who are your influences, whether it be life, whether it be wrestling? Who do you look up to?
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's obviously the easy answers like the Shawn Michaels and the Ric Flairs, Undertaker's up there. I was the biggest Edge head if you couldn't tell from the JCID videos. Um, but nowadays, Prince Mustafa Ali. If you don't know who he is, he's one of the Cruiserweight Classic competitors. I had the pleasure of main eventing a wrestling show against him, and he actually surprised me and gave me the win. So I have a pinfall victory over one of the Cruiserweight Classic competitors. So that's kind of cool. But it was totally his idea. Jay Lethal is another influence of mine because he was just such a cool guy at the camp, and he's such a genius and he's probably the most talented wrestler in the world right now. Um, yeah, those two are huge.
Do you like being compared to other wrestlers? Like if someone were to watch one of your matches and say, "Oh, you remind me of whomever," do you like that?
It's cool. It's humbling. I usually get Tyler Breeze or Brian Kendrick. Those are the two that I get compared to the
I
most.
definitely see Kendrick. I guess I guess I see Tyler Breeze too, just because of your whole gimmick with your
The thing,
Hawaiian hero.
yeah.
What keeps you motivated? What keeps you from giving up on wrestling?
I am such a fan at heart of wrestling. I love this, and receiving payment to go out there and do what I love in front of people who love watching me do what I love is the best thing that anybody could ask for.
Absolutely. It's always good to get paid for what you love.
Oh, yeah. Usually spend it on gas getting home, though. That's the thing.
All right. Tell me about Team Gay.
Ooh, ooh.
I did my homework.
Yeah, you definitely did. So, myself and Pretty Boy Preston, and Preston is got to be my best friend by far in the wrestling world. And he is so athletic and so smart and so just good. He came up with it. He's like, or actually, no, that's he came up with the name Team Gay, but I came up with you. It was such a joint thing. We would train together. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm sorry. We would train together, and I go up to the promoter. I would always talk to him behind the scenes. I would always just be like, "Hey, Steve, like, let me talk to you up front." He's like, "Okay," and I would just pitch things, and he's like, "No, that sucks. We're not doing that. This is cool." Like, I just always had ideas that I wanted to do stuff with, and I'm like, "All right, what does every heel need?" He's like, I don't know, a manager. I'm like, exactly. So, um, I want to use him. I want to use Preston. He's great. Give me him. And he's like, okay, cool. So I was doing the pretty boy Hawaiian lotion thing at the time, and he's like, what if I come out with a purse? I carry the lotion. I lotion you, and I'm just a flamboyant homosexual. And we call ourselves Gorgeous and Young Team Gay. And you're not gay, I'm gay, but we're not gay together. But we do gay stuff in the ring together, and it's just weird, and people are just into it. And I'm like, that sounds fantastic, Preston. Let's go for it. And we would do 69 spots. We would do doggy style spots. I would be on the apron. Some guy would bit me off, and he would catch me like Shaggy and Scooby Doo, and we just stare into each other's eyes for such a long period of time. And it would just be so stupid, but it was hilarious, and it was over. And yeah, the reason that it ended, oh, it was so huge. It was like the biggest thing going in that company at the time. Like they didn't want to strap us, but well, we were going to get the straps because we were just so. Oh my god. Anyways, one mother complained about it because it was the whole like love wins thing at the time, and Preston came out. He had a gay pride flag, and he used it as like a cape.
No, no.
He's running around the venue with this gay cape, and we do the thing, and some mother complained to the booker, and the booker's such a wuss and such a bad promoter, that he just squashed it, and he's like, I don't want you guys doing this anymore. It's done. And I'm like,
So did you guys like
whatever,
break
dude.
up, or did it just end?
There was no ending to Team Gay. It just kind of stopped, and I was like, that's stupid.
Now I've heard you answer this before, but for those that are listening that haven't, when somebody tells you it's not real,
Ooh.
what do you say?
I think I answered this exactly how I'm about to. I just try not to associate myself with people who say that, but given somebody says that to me, I just tell them, I'm like, dude, I've had I've busted my ankle and it's still busted, and that was 3 years ago because I took a power bomb wrong, and I'll never walk the same way again. And I can't swim right anymore just because of matches. Or my tag partner Alex Romero, he popped his shoulder during a match. He had to leave and come back and repop it. Like, there's been one of my trainers was running a ring, and one of the boards was too short, so when he hit the ropes, his ankle snapped and his quad gall. It's dude. There's It's choreographed, right? It's predetermined. It's an art. It's an art form. But it's the most painful and physical and contact oriented art form on the planet. So it's definitely not fake. Is it predetermined? Sure. Does it leave bumps and bruises? You bet your ass. Will you get injured? Probably.
Right.
It's not fake.
You already kind of described working with Shannon Moore. If you just want to touch on that a little bit more, just because I've always thought that guy was crazy talented and crazy underrated.
Oh, he was so good.
So yeah, if you just want to talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. He came to Chicago for a little while. I think he moved in the city was the thing, and he started working for the promotion that I was a part of, and he had a few main event matches against my trainer or some other veterans in the business, if you want to call them that. And he looks over at me and he watches me train. He comes to the training facility. He's like, "Hey, Steve, I wanna work this kid." He's like, "Are you sure?" He's like, "Yeah, I wanna work this kid." So we we had a main event against each other. It was so cool. The match is still online, I'm pretty sure. It was, probably my favorite match ever, because I never thought, in me being less than 160 pounds and under 5'10", I never thought I'd be in a main event of a wrestling show. And I never thought I'd have the opportunity to work a former WWE superstar. But I did both of those things in the same night. And that is pretty cool.
What promotion are you currently working in? What company?
So, obviously being a student and an intern and taking summer classes, my schedule is very limited. But I did make it out last weekend. I worked 3 shows in 2 days. Anarchy Pro, and then I worked for freelance twice. Galley Lucha Libre wants to use me. I mean, I just I get around, in the indie scene. I don't limit myself to one promotion. I'll basically work for whoever will take me, as long as it's not too out of my way.
So where can people see you next?
I don't even know the answer to that question, because on the 30th of July, I won't be available this weekend. I'll be in Wisconsin with family. But on the 30th of July, there's 2 shows on the same day, and I can work both of them, but I know I'm only going to work one of them, but I don't know if I'm going to work the one, because the promoter didn't tell me if we're going to be on, but he implied it, but he never officially said it. So I need to I don't know.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I don't know the answer to that question.
That's okay. So, as an end game, you've already kind of talked about it. Is is the WWE the end game, whether it be the marketing or wrestling, or would you rather just keep working the smaller indie scene?
Well, obviously, probably the only way to make a nice living off of doing what we do is getting signed to the WWE. But because they're only signing the best independent wrestlers on the planet, like AJ Styles and like members of the Bullet Club, and I'm hearing rumors of Ricochet and really good people. There's a lot of really, really good independent wrestlers who are not on the WWE, like Davey Richards or ACH or Lethal even or who have you. And I'm like, hey, if they didn't even get to there, I don't want to sell myself short and say that I probably won't get there, but I don't want to go for something if it's not a for sure thing,
Right.
if that makes sense. And as far as corporate WWE goes, they go through employees so quickly. They're hiring and firing all the time. I don't think I would have a lengthy career working for the WWE. It'd probably be only like 2 to 5 years in Stanford, but I definitely do want to work for them at some point in my
All
life.
right. Um, well, while we're talking about WWE, thoughts on the WWE network?
I think the network is fantastic for the viewer because it's so convenient, but I think it's terrible for the WWE because their DVD sales are just in the toilet. That's obvious. Yeah, I have no complaints. I mean, sometimes it sucks when you're trying to watch WrestleMania off the network and it buffers every 45 seconds, but that's about it.
Um, who are the spot monkeys?
Oh man, I don't even know. It's just myself and Alex Romero, and we're just a bunch of punk, like punk rock, and just indie kids who just like to wrestle and go out there and do cool stuff. I mean, he's the hard hitter, more Kyle O'Reilly-ish submission and strike oriented, whereas I'm kind of more Matt Seidel-ish, I guess, with like my standing moonsaults and
Mhm.
diving ranas and what have you. But yeah, I mean, as of right now, we've only had 4 matches as a team. We don't really have like a story, more or less. We're just kind of kids, who wrestle.
In your opinion, how old is too old to be a wrestler? You see guys, mainly in TNA, but you see guys like Kurt Angles and Batista before he left,
Yeah,
Ric
yeah.
Flair. How old do you think is too old?
Oh man. Um, like Kurt Angle's not too old to be a wrestler because if you've I don't know if you know who Zack Sabre Jr. is. I'm going to assume you do. Him and Zach just had a match in like England, and it was fantastic. Um, just to answer your question though, just when you can't go out there and do it well anymore because people are paying to see a good show, and if you can't give them a good show, you shouldn't be a part of the show. But if you can still go and you're like 90, then that's fine.
This doesn't have anything to do with age, but what were your thoughts on did Sting get a bad rap like, going to WWE and having like a
It was so bad what they did. Like it could have been so good, and it wasn't. Um, first off, from a wrestler's mentality at WrestleMania when he worked Triple H, if Triple H really wants to go over, that's fine. Let him win. But when Triple H hit him with the sledgehammer and cheated to win, right? He cheated. You'd be pissed
right?
off if somebody
Absolutely.
cheated to beat you, right? Why did they shake hands after the match? That was dumb. And then Seth Rollins works twice in the same night, which is fine. He's
Right.
got both straps, but I don't know, man. I don't know how I would have done it differently, but certainly would have done it differently.
Thoughts on AJ Styles finally being in WWE?
Oh, he's amazing. I'm so happy for him. More than happy for him. He's a huge influence of mine as well. He's I want to say he's past 40 and he's doing springboard 450 splashes and like just still doing incredible things. He still does his turnbuckle backflip spot where it catches you and does the inverted D. Like he's crazy. You know, he's probably one of the best wrestlers on the planet, and WWE made the right decision.
Um, Absolutely. He's actually my favorite. I don't watch it religiously, but when I do, he's nowadays I turn on to see AJ Styles.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm glad he
He's
finally made it
very
because
good.
I really didn't think he was going to make it to WWE.
No, as a kid, I never thought he was going to get signed either. My younger brother,
Yes, absolutely.
you've seen him before through YouTube. I was watching WWE one time off of my DVR, and it was AJ Styles versus somebody, and you know, I'll call him. Drake was in the background, you know, doing whatever it is Drake does. And he hears the name AJ Styles on TV and he flips. He's like, what? Like, he's on TV. How is he on TV? I never thought he'd be in the WWE and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, like a lot of people didn't expect it, but it happened.
Your brother's hilarious, by the way.
Thank you. He's a genius, too. He got like a 32 on his ACT. It's crazy.
Still keeping up with the WWE theme, the brand split and Shane McMahon being there and all that.
It's cool. It's very cool. I mean, I don't currently have cable in my house, so I can't watch Raw and SmackDown every week, but I think the idea of the brand split is fantastic because just so many people are getting hurt because they're working far too often because WWE was only pushing a certain amount of people because SmackDown used the same talent pool as Raw for a while. So they finally decided, you know, hey, these are human beings and they can get hurt. So we're going to split it and only these people work these shows and only these people these shows. So from a safety perspective, it's
I tell you, I feel like
huge.
it's gotten better. I mean, it's not like it used to be, obviously, but I feel like, and I know Shane McMahon being there has nothing to do with it. That's just storyline for TV purposes only.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's still Vince and whomever running things behind the scenes, but but I mean, because Shane is there, I gotta give him props. I feel like, I mean, it's still cheesy, it's still PG, but I feel like the wrestling itself has gotten tremendously better.
Oh, of course. They're promoting this whole new era thing, and they're using guys like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and they got Finn Balor on Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura on NXT.
I mean,
It's
I'll
crazy.
turn it on and I'll still
It's
see, I'll
crazy.
watch it and I'll be like, oh, it's kind of cheesy, but then the match will start and I'm like, well, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a PG show. They're appealing to children. Of course, it's going to be cheesy, but yeah, I think the wrestling itself is fantastic.
What do you think could be done to make their current product better, in your opinion?
Oh man. See, and that is such a realistic question because I want to go in their marketing department, and I don't have an answer for that currently. They're doing so many good things right now. Um, you know, I don't know how to answer that. I really do not.
Well, uh,
I mean, you can say make it TV-14 again, but they're making so much money off of this PG thing that that just isn't a feasible option at this point. Yeah.
what's your dream match for yourself?
For myself, who do I want to work? I had the opportunity to train a little bit
Okay.
with Kalisto in Chicago. We rolled around a tad, and he's just so good. So I would love to work him. Alex Shelley is on my list. I want to work ACH. I want to work Jay Lethal, obviously. I want to work Prince Ali again. There's so many people. It's too many. Matt Nix. There's so many people I would love to be in the ring with just one more time.
We're winding it up, but got a few more. I want to do some word association with you.
Sure.
So I'm just going to throw out names, and they're going to be mainstream names, just for the listeners.
All right.
Um, you just tell me first thing that comes to mind.
First thing that comes. All right, I'm in therapy right now. Let's go.
First one, you ready?
Sure.
CM Punk.
Chicago.
All right.
Sorry, that was the first thing that came to mind.
That's what you're supposed to do. You're good.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Seth Rollins.
Just flight. Just air. Cool shit.
Eric Bischoff.
Hair. I don't know. That was the first thing.
I mean, I get it. Paul Heyman.
Bald. Wow, what the fuck? Genius. Sorry, I didn't say bald. I said genius.
TNA.
Extreme. Why though? Why did I say that? It was for a while. It was cool for a while. Okay.
Diamond Dallas Page.
Yoga. Easy.
That's a good one. That makes sense. Shawn Michaels.
The best professional wrestler ever.
John Cena.
He's not, but one of the worst professional wrestlers ever. He's not, but that's just what came to mind because of Shawn. I'm sorry.
The Wyatt family.
Different.
AJ Styles.
Amazing. Phenomenal.
There you go. Billy Gunn.
Ass.
Makes sense. Scott Hall.
I'm drawing a blank right now. Blitz. Pro Wrestling Blitz. It was a show I worked and he was in the locker room. He's a cool guy.
I've met him before too. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Especially now that his head's straight and he's cool. He's awesome to talk to.
Weird for a while, but he is good now.
Yeah. I met him. Not to get off topic, but I met him on my birthday in 2013.
Nice.
There was a independent wrestling show going on in Maryland, and I went there. I live in Virginia, but I drove there and met him. And actually, everyone else was just like going up, taking a picture. He'll sign shit, whatever.
Yeah.
I got up there. Not only did he stop and talk to me longer and held up the line because I told him it was my birthday, he was going on about it was also his father's birthday. I feel like he said his father. It was his father's birthday. Him and his son Cody were about to go over there afterwards and hang out, and he flirted with my stepmother. He called her baby.
Nice.
So yeah, he's a really cool guy. All right, back on track. Dean Ambrose.
Asylum. But to kind of build off of that, it was so good and it was so bad what they did at Money in the Bank, because I like when somebody has that briefcase and is able to walk around for a year and just tease cashing it in, but he finally got the strap, so I am very happy for that because I've been watching him for quite a while before he even got signed, and he deserves that.
Roman Reigns.
Oh, steroids. I don't think that's what it was, but that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Last one for this.
Sure.
The New Day.
Rocks.
You said who? What?
Rocks.
New Day Rock. Okay, I got it. Sorry, a little slow. All right. What's your biggest pet peeve?
When I'm from a wrestling perspective, when I'm trying to call a match with somebody and like I've just got so many good ideas that make sense and they just don't want to do shit and they're lazy and just don't want to go out there and tear it up. I hate that.
We're not going to get into politics right now, but Trump or Clinton?
See, I don't know enough about either candidate to really give a good answer. but from what I understand, we're screwed regardless.
Absolutely.
So,
All right. Final set of questions. Have
sure.
you ever seen Inside the Actor Studio on
I
Bravo?
have not.
Okay. Well, you don't have to. But basically, the host of that show, James Lipton, at the end asks each guest a series of questions.
Okay.
It's the same questions every time, and I would watch that growing up because I'm big into like movies and acting, and that's sort of my
Sure.
passion.
Yeah.
So I would watch that, and I would love. I couldn't wait to get to that part because I would love to hear each person's answer.
Yeah.
So we're gonna steal from. I'm sure
That's
it's
fine.
copyrighted, but I'm not making profit on this. So
Okay. No, I'm on your show. You do
we're
what you want,
we're
man.
gonna steal from that, and I'm gonna ask you those questions before we get off here. What's your favorite word?
What's my favorite word?
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. To stay PG.
you don't have to say stay PG.
Dude.
Well, we stay PG because the favorite curse word's coming up.
Okay. My favorite word. I just like stuff that you can use, and what my favorite word is? I like doofus. Doofus is a fun word. It sounds good. It does what you want it to do. I like doofus.
It's also
Really
very
like doofus.
90s.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite word?
Fake. Hate that word.
What sound or noise do you love?
You know the sounds that like dolphins make, the blowholes. It's like a
Yes.
clicking sound.
Yes.
It's a pretty cool sound. I like that sound. What sound do I hate? Children crying. I freaking hate when kids cry. It's bad.
Yeah.
I like puppies. Puppies too. When they pant, that's a good sound. I like that sound.
Creatively or emotionally, what turns you on?
Like gets me sexually aroused. Is
No,
that what we're talking about?
I don't want to
Okay.
know what gets you sexually aroused. I just like what excites you? What?
What gets me happy?
Yeah.
Like just getting free crap. Free stuff is cool. And anything Christmas and snowy, like I go to Colorado every year and snowboard in the Rocky Mountains, and I absolutely love winter. So snow uh, turns me on in a non-sexually arousing way. Yeah, snow and free crap.
All
That's
right.
pretty cool.
Well, what turns you off?
Fat chicks. Don't like fat chicks. Um. Oh, Oh boy. Um. Okay. So I like feminism, right? I totally agree with the whole everybody's equal crap. Do you know what a feminazi is?
No.
Okay. Well, sorry about that. It's a thing, and just women who think they're entitled to more than they are. That's one. Um. I don't like racism. There's just a lot of stuff I don't like.
Okay. What profession other than wrestling would you like to attempt?
What I like to attempt. For a really long time, I wanted to be a marine biologist and a dolphin trainer. So that's my answer.
What profession other than wrestling would you not like to attempt?
Ooh. Anything where I'm stuck in a cubicle when there's just walls on all sides of me and I can't talk to people and I just have to do paperwork for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. Can't do that.
This is the big one.
Sure.
What's your favorite curse word?
Do I even have to answer that, man?
I mean, I think it's everybody has the same one, but go for it.
Dude, I mean, I like all of them in different contexts. It depends how you use it. Like shit stain. I like the word shit stain. Fuck can be used for anything.
Absolutely.
Um, I do like the C word. I'm not gonna say that. I think that's a level above fuck, but I do like the C word in certain scenarios.
All right. Finally,
Sure.
Brad, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Oh my goodness. Um, well, man, if he just says, welcome to eternal happiness, go talk to your father. He's over there. That would be probably the greatest thing I could ever hear.
It's awesome. That's all I got for you.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you
I
so
appreciate
much.
it.
Real quick, tell people where they can find you on social media.
Oh, sure. Brad Kevins on Facebook. Find me at Hawaiian_hero on Twitter and Sexy Wrestler on Instagram. 2 X's in sexy, and the first E in wrestler is the number 3.
Brad, I appreciate you talking with me today. I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, I love you. Be sure to check me out. This is available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. You can find me on Facebook.com/TheLoneWolf1988, Instagram.com/Matthew Winstead, Twitter handle @Matthew Winstead, YouTube.com/Matthew Winstead. Until next time, guys, keep it chill.